was once a quiet backwater, best known for its spectacular scenery and 40 million sheep. Now New Zealand is a powerhouse of film, a place where the locations are so breathtaking and the movie-making skills so sophisticated, the world's top directors come to weave their magic. Windy Wellington, the capital, now revels in the tag of Wellywood. Some of the glamour of Hollywood transported to the South Seas.
It's a wonderful experience for Wellington, of course.
They're just so excited. It's just an electric atmosphere down there. It's a once-in-a-lifetime experience.
It's the headquarters of Weta, the studio empire created by reclusive director Peter Jackson that's produced a string of movie hits, garnered 10 Academy Awards,
Holy mackerel!
and is best known for its celebrated trilogy, Lord of the Rings. More than anything else, this is what's put New Zealand on the map, generated a thriving film culture, and drawn international visitors by the plane load. They buy Lord of the Rings memorabilia at the Weta Cave. And not content with just the DVD and the odd model or two, many moviegoers now want to visit the locations and even dress up as the characters.
Whoever wants to be a hobbit can be a hobbit. You're going to be Sam, you're going to be Frodo, everybody wants to be Frodo.
But we're able to bring you something the tourists never see. An inside tour of the place that made Lord of the Rings by one of its creators. Richard Taylor is Peter Jackson's partner in Weta and the prime creative force behind the clay models that by digital magic suddenly become real-life characters on screen.
Gollum probably for the first time transcended the need for an audience to assess him as a technical achievement. They just accepted him as a character in film.
Follow me.
You imagine when Peter Jackson comes to you as a technician and artist and says, right, we're going to make this massive movie, but I'm going to leave a hole where Gollum's going to be, and one day you'll pop a digital character in it that will be totally convincing. I know the technology doesn't exist today, but maybe one day in the future. And it's that total belief that Peter has and the team around him that empowers all of us, that he would never question that it wasn't achievable.
The Weta Workshop is where Gollum the model was made, along with everything else needed for Weta Productions. Ever wonder how the battle scenes in Lord of the Rings were possible? Well, it all starts here.
This is a background mannequin. This is just one mould, obviously. We can run multiple copies out of the mould, maybe thousands, and they can be strewn across a battlefield and bits and pieces. You can tear them up, do whatever you like with them.
And then there's everything else needed for the Lord of the Rings trilogy, plus Weta's other big hits like King Kong and the Chronicles of Narnia.
So we're here in the middle of the workshop. This is what we call the weapons wall. Some we make in spring steel, just like a real sword, and then we make this sort of weapon, which is made out of spring aluminium, a skateboard wheel rubber-like product, and this is for all the stunt fighting, where we want the actors to actually swing a blow and hit the armour on the opponent's body without injuring them. Ultimately, we set this up so that the men and women that work here get a chance to see all the cool stuff that they get to work on. And also, if their mums and dads pop in for a look, they get to see all the swords as well.
It's in another section, Weta Digital, that live action mixes with digital imaging to create what we eventually see on screen. Here's some of the transformation process for King Kong.
To think that King Kong is a totally digital character and still he'll draw a level of emotion that makes an audience cry, that is an achievement in filmmaking.
King Kong and Gollum have established Weta at the forefront of turning something into someone. But there are even bigger advances to come.
I'm sure you'll see some things that you've never seen before.
New stuff.
New stuff, exactly.
Groundbreaking stuff.
We hope so.
Made in New Zealand.
Made in New Zealand, yes.
And when filming is over, the Kiwis are also world beaters. The Peter Jackson empire also includes the state-of-the-art Park Road post-production.
We've had the biggest productions in the world come through these doors, and so therefore we're technically up to date with anywhere in the world.
Here, they're colour grading a section of the most expensive Asian movie ever made. Hong Kong director John Woo's two-part epic, The Battle of Redcliffe. It happens to be a scene we filmed John Woo directing in China last year. But why come all the way to Wellywood?
Well, I think there is a spirit of collaborative creativity. We're driven by the pursuit of creative result first and foremost. And I think that our various clients from around the world enjoy that culture of filmmaking.
It's all made Weta a major force in global cinema and also enabled it to help local filmmakers reinforce the Kiwi identity.
Last year we worked on a little horror movie called Black Sheep, about crazed sheep that run amok.
Action! Fighting it up! And it goes back in, snapping! Pull it away again! Cut!
While it feeds all the Kiwi stereotypes in places like Britain, Australia and South Africa, Black Sheep director Jonathan King knew there'd be blank looks in many markets.
In one part, one of the characters says to the other, he says, "Rattle your dags, Henry." And when I saw it in France, the subtitle said, "Courage, Henry," which I'm sure is nothing like what rattle your dags means, but...
What does rattle your dags mean for an international audience?
Well, it sort of means move your ass.
Taking risks has paid off for the New Zealand industry as a whole. In Wellywood, there's intense local pride that a nation of 4 million people can have had such a disproportionate impact on global cinema. Certainly for moviegoers the world over, the Lord of the Rings trilogy in particular will always have a certain magic. But it did more than move audiences, it inspired a whole nation.
It was the fact that the whole country got behind the telling of those stories, I guess with the desire forever to indelibly stamp our culture on the world stage. It somehow mobilised a country and everyone celebrated in it.
Who would ever have thought of it? Not the least New Zealanders.
Not the least me. No, it's incredible, isn't it?